This is a logic board only repair. If you are a repair business or otherwise able to perform disassembly yourself, feel free to contact me regarding board only mail-in repair service. This is the logic board from an iPad Pro 9.7, and if you've ever removed one of these from the tablet before, you already know what the problem is. And if you haven't, I'm going to show you what happened and what you want to avoid. On this particular board, we've got a flex cable down here, and there's a secondary flex at the top, well there should be, that goes to the speaker system. And as you can see, it is missing. I've seen this happen a number of times. If you're not familiar with it, I would encourage you to watch a detailed tutorial about how to remove the speaker from the top before you get this thing out. And when you do, you also need to know that this guy is sitting back here, and it's very easy to tear through these. Now the good news is that these are very sturdy as far as the connectors go, so you shouldn't have a hard time replacing this, hopefully, if you didn't do too much damage to it in the first place. Let's get this under the scope and get it fixed. So as you can see, this thing kind of just tore off and left behind some remnants on the board. I want to get this sticker off of the top, and then the main thing is removing this without doing any damage to the contacts on the board. And you'll see here as I go along, we can apply some flux, and we will pre-tin this with some leaded solder in order to bring down the melting temperature. And I'm going to continue to do this with a soldering iron. You can also do this with a hot air station if you have one. That might make things a little bit easier, but I'm assuming that not everyone has access to that equipment. So after we tin this here, you'll see probably the trickiest part about this is just getting your tweezers underneath the cable so that you can lift it up. So we've got most of it off, but as we zoom in here, you'll see that there are some stubborn pieces here that I'm going to have to work on a little bit more to make sure we get everything cleaned off of the surface. As you can see here, as long as we've got sufficient flux and some leaded solder on the tip of the iron, these contacts are surprisingly durable. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So you can see these things hold up pretty well. It's a lot less likely you're going to damage one of these contacts than you would on something like a charge port connector. I'm just trying to get the rest of the old adhesive off. And I think we're good. That one could probably smooth that up just a hair. Not a huge deal. But you don't want to have to do this twice. All we have to do now is get our replacement part, peel off the wax paper backing, and the adhesive on the back side of this cable should kind of hold it in place for you once you line up these windows. But if not, you can always keep it in place with your finger. I actually like to get a pair of tweezers and hold it down flush to the board while I go over it with an iron a couple times, and from there out we should be good. When you finish up here, I would recommend using a 92% rubbing alcohol, and that will prevent the paint from coming off of the flex cable when you clean it. Alright, if you have any doubts, you can always check and make sure you're getting values on, well, some of these, not all. That is going to ground right there. That was the one I wanted to take a look at. And we got 1.7, 596. This is also ground. Yep, so this is all good to go. We'll get it back in the tablet, and we will have a functioning set of speakers.